I moved into the apartment on a quiet afternoon in early October. The air was still warm, but there was something dry in the breeze, a scent of changing seasons. The place was small, fourth floor, end of the hallway, clean enough, cheap enough, and quiet, which was all I cared about. The landlord mentioned it had been vacant for almost 2 years, but didn't say much else. I liked forgotten places. I liked silence. The first night passed almost like any other. I unpacked, brewed some tea, let soft music fill the air. I dozed off on the sofa without meaning to. No dreams, nothing strange, except at 3:18 am, I woke up, not from a nightmare, not from a sound inside the room, from something else. 3 knocks, soft, even on the front door. I didn't understand why I knew the time, but when I checked my phone, it read 3:18 exactly. I walked to the door, looked through the peephole. No one. I opened it anyway. The hallway was still, yellow-lit, empty. I stood there for a long second, feeling something cold brush past me, not wind, not air, just cold. There was a faint, burnt smell, like smoke long settled into old wood. I closed the door, locked it, and told myself it was nothing. A neighbor, pipes, a dream I couldn't remember. I went back to sleep, but in the morning, something was gone. My silver ring, a small gift my mother had given me for my birthday years ago. I remembered placing it in the ceramic dish on my dresser before I left the room last night. I checked everywhere. It wasn't there. The dish was empty, no sign of a break-in, no misplacement, just gone. The kind of gone that felt like it had never been there to begin with. That's when I remembered the knocking. 3 times, at 3:18. I laughed it off. A coincidence, my brain making patterns where there weren't any. But somewhere inside me, quietly, lightly, something tapped against my chest, like fingers brushing the back of a locked door, just enough to say, I tried, and I'll try again. The second night, I didn't fall asleep on the sofa. I went to bed early, told myself it was just an off moment, nothing more. Still, I left the hallway light on. I didn't think I was scared, just cautious. But when I woke up again, heart suddenly alert and ears straining, the clock read 3:18 am, and the sound came again. 3 knocks, measured, gentle, as if whoever was on the other side had all the time in the world. I lay in bed, unmoving. I didn't get up. This time I listened. The knocks didn't come again, just those 3, and then silence, like someone waiting, not impatient, just watching. I stayed there awake until the light outside started to change. In the morning, I found my apartment keys were missing. I always left them in the bowl near the door. Always. But the bowl was empty. Nothing else was out of place. The door was locked. The windows closed. I checked every pocket, every drawer under the furniture. Nothing. And I remembered the knock. That quiet rhythm, 3 times, as if it had come to ask for something, or to take. That day, I bought a small camera and placed it in the hallway, facing the door. I didn't want to be the kind of person who believed in ghosts or cursed things, but I needed proof. Anything to make sense of this. The third night, I waited. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, lights off, watching the door. At 3:18, I heard it again. 3 knocks. The same, identical. I froze. My fingers curled tightly around the remote. I stood, slowly, walked toward the door, looked through the peephole. Empty. Again. I opened it. No one, just the stale hallway air. I checked the camera in the morning. The video played normally until the exact second the knocks occurred. Then static. 3 seconds, just static. When it cleared, I was on the screen again, looking out. But there was no audio, no timestamp. Like the file had been tampered with by something that didn't want to be seen. That day, I noticed my favorite spoon was missing. It sounds ridiculous, but it was the kind of spoon that had memory. A slightly bent handle from childhood, from the kitchen drawer of the house I grew up in. Gone. And in its place, nothing. Not even a gap, as if it had never been there. On the 4th night, I didn't wait. I left the door open at 3:15. I sat in the hallway, lights dim. At 3:18, no one came. But I felt something pass. Not footsteps, not wind, just a slight distortion in the air, like the hallway had inhaled, held its breath, and exhaled something older. The next morning, the door across from mine, the one sealed off with caution tape, and a do not enter notice since before I moved in, had a new piece of paper taped to it. It wasn't official, just a torn scrap, scribbled in red ink, 3 numbers, my apartment number, underlined, and next to it, a single sentence. You forgot to open it. I didn't open the sealed apartment door right away. I stared at that red ink note for a long time, rereading it over and over, as if a new meaning might surface if I just looked long enough. You forgot to open it. Who wrote it? And why my number? Later that morning, I went downstairs to ask the building manager. A heavy-set man with thinning hair. He barely looked up from his screen when I asked. That unit, been empty for 3 years. Girl lived there. Quiet. One day, she stopped answering. Cops came, broke in, found nothing. I asked what he meant by nothing. He said the room was spotless. No blood, no sign of struggle. But her phone was still there. Wallet, too. She never showed up again. No forwarding address. Just vanished. I asked if she was declared dead. He shrugged. Eventually, I guess. No family to push it. I didn't ask more. I went back upstairs, stared at her door, trying to imagine what kind of emptiness could feel that full. That night, I sat in the hallway again. The door across remained closed. Mine slightly open. At 3:18 a.m., the knocks came. But this time, not on my door. They came from hers. 3 solid knocks. Then silence. I nearly dropped my phone. My hands shook. But I stood, walked slowly across, and touched the knob. Cold. I pressed my ear to the door. Nothing. But when I pulled back, there it was again, 3 knocks from behind the door, less a demand, more like a rhythm. I couldn't explain why, but I used my building keyring, the emergency one the landlord had handed me and probably forgot about, and turned the lock. It opened. The air hit me like breath from a tomb. The apartment inside looked untouched. Dust in corners, plastic still on the sofa. But on the floor, right by the window, I saw something. A spoon, my spoon, bent handle, faint dent from years ago, sitting there as if someone had just placed it down. I stepped inside. There was more. A small framed photo of a beach I'd taken last summer, missing from my shelf for a week. A sock, a ring box, a pair of keys, all mine, all displayed neatly on a low table in the center of the room, like an altar. And in the center of them all an envelope. No name, just a symbol, 3 red dots. I picked it up. Inside, 1 sentence, handwritten, no signature, just ink that hadn't fully dried. I only take what you let me. I turned to leave, and that's when I saw it. The hallway mirror behind me. The reflection was off by half a second. Me, but delayed. And then the reflection smiled. I didn't go back into my apartment that morning. I sat in the hallway for a long time, holding the envelope, watching the way light touched the door frames like it was afraid to go further. Inside the sealed apartment, everything I'd lost was still there, displayed, arranged, almost respected, as if someone had carefully curated a shrine of what made me me. I couldn't understand it. Was this theft? A haunting? A message? That night, I stayed in the other apartment. I brought a blanket, a flashlight, a notebook. I waited. At 3:18 a.m., I didn't hear knocks this time. I heard breathing. Shallow, slow, and close. I turned toward the hallway mirror, just in time to see the reflection of someone stepping behind me. But when I spun around, no one. Just air, just cold. I called out. Why me? The silence answered first. Then a voice. Not loud, not deep, just tired. It came from the mirror, from the corners, from the place breath goes when you're too afraid to speak. It said, because you left the door open. I backed away, but the air shifted again. The table where my things had been was now empty. Completely. No ring, no spoon, no photo, just the envelope. This time unopened. I reached for it, hands shaking. Inside, a new note. You forgot something. No context, no date, just that I didn't sleep. In the morning, I went back to my apartment. Everything was normal, too normal. My lost things were back in place, like they'd never vanished. But they weren't exactly the same. My keys had a faint scratch that hadn't been there before. My spoon was polished, too clean. The photo was slightly faded, as if it had aged without me. That night, I dreamed. First time in years. In the dream, I stood in my hallway at 3:18 a.m., staring at my door. Except I was on the outside, and someone was sitting inside, quietly waiting, me, but not me. A version, a trace, watching the door, waiting for the knocks. I woke with a start, checked the time. 3:17. The hallway light flicked on by itself. I walked to the door. Before I touched it, I whispered, "Who are you?" And from behind the wood, just before the first knock landed, I heard it, "The part you left behind."